Hi guys, this is Hayley here from Hayley's One-on-One Tutorials, and today I will be showing you how to cover a basic rig that can be used to animate from first person perspective with having certain limbs as shown here. So we've got an array of simple controllers here, as you can see. Keeping it nice and basic, using IK handles. And then also we've got an array of attributes here in order to have stand poses. Like so, creating a fist. So let's get started. So I've already prepared the finished arm that's been modelled, as you can see here. Now if we just go show grid, now it's only got a simple Lambert material on it. What we want to do before we start is to make sure that we go edit, delete by type history, modify, freeze transformation so everything is reset. Okay, now we're ready. We can just go Control D, look in the axis we're going into. So if I go display, on the view cube, and keep that there for now. Because we're going in the x-axis, scale -1, like so. Again, we want to freeze the transformations to make sure these values are reset to 0. Okay, so now we want to make sure we're in the animation tab. And then we can also use the animation shelf here. We're going to select joints. Now if we change to the top view here, just going to create a joint here. Another one, slightly off-centered, doesn't have to be perfectly inside. Another one on the wrist, and another one in the center of the hand. Just press enter when you're done. Now we're going to go into Windows, Outliner. Now if we press and hold Shift on the plus button, we can then expand our hierarchy. I'm just going to rename these. Right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, and right hand, like so. Now we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do it for the fingers. So just click on the joint tool here. The other way to find it is if we go into skeleton, joint tool. Now we're just going to create a joint here. Another one in the center of the knuckle. Another one here, and then just to make sure we got an end one. Okay, on the tip. Now if you notice this is a little bit invasive, we can change the size of it by going to display, animation, joint size, and we're going to change this to 0.5, like so. Okay, and it will change the size of all the joints, so when you work on certain bits you can just change it as you need to. I'm just going to position that there. And now in order to position these individual joints without moving the rest of the hierarchy, we can press and hold D to change our pivot point. Okay, so again, D on the keyboard. Just do the same here, like so. Now we're going to expand this joint by pressing and holding Shift. We're going to call this one right index finger 0, 1. Control C, Control V, change it to 0, 2, Control C, V. Whoops, just go Control C, Control V, 0, 3, Control V, 0, 4. Now we're just going to duplicate this over, Control D, or you can go Edit, Duplicate, bring that over to here. Control D. And again, like we did before, just make sure these are positioned within the center edge loop, so press and hold D on the keyboard, like so. Move this one a little further down. Same with this one, a bit further down. A bit further down. Move that one up. Move this one up. We just want to make sure that this end joint is hanging out of the finger. Okay? Just move that down. Move that up. We're just going to duplicate it one last time. Like so. Now this part gets a little bit confusing because the edge loops are a little bit messier. But that's okay, we can still do it. Again, Control D, just move that there. Just D, like so. And what we're going to do is highlight all the joints that we got. Go into perspective view. We're just going to pull it up a little bit, like so. Go into side view. If we press A on the keyboard, it will bring everything into shot. Minimize that for now. Put it up like that. Into perspective view, and if we go transparent and reference, we just move that down here. Now you don't have to create your objects in a layer like I have. You can simply just go into wireframe mode, but creating layers for your objects can make it a lot easier for you to manage, so you don't accidentally click the mesh. So a way to do that is if I just empty the layer and delete the layer, just to highlight the objects you want, go into here, click that. If you double click to rename and click save. So at the moment this is empty. V controls the visibility. Click it once for transparency, so you get the wireframe, but as you notice you can't select it, and then reference, when in shaded mode, will allow you to see the full object, but you won't be able to select it. So I like to keep it from here and just switch between wireframe and shaded mode as of when. So we just make sure that the joints are aligned, so we can probably move this one a little further down by pressing D, like so. We want to make sure that it's in line with the middle edge loop. Move this one across a little bit, move it down, like so. Okay, now I've done that. In the outliner, you should go through and rename all the joints to the relevant ones. Now if you select the root joint, which is the first one you made, press and hold Shift. Select the hand joint, making sure we select that, not this, just that one, and go Edit and select Parent, and this will connect the two joints. So if we just select the root and then the hand joint, press P. Do the same thing again, press P, and just parent the rest of the joints, like so. Now what we're going to do is mirror the joints over. So if we select the root joint and go skeleton and go mirror joint and select the option box, we want to make sure that we're mirroring across in the Y to Z axis. We keep this the same and we search for R to replace with L. As you can see here, we started to rename these R, and if we click mirror, this will duplicate it over like we have here, and as you can see that the values that we have of R have been replaced with L. So again, before you mirror over, make sure that all of your outliner in rename is correct. Okay, so this summarizes this part of the tutorial. In the next part we will start to create the body, and then start to add in IKs and pole vectors and controllers. Okay?